morning and welcome to Ways Breakfast, proudly brought to you by Upgrade TV. And on this platform, we explore and talk about various issues that concerns us greatly, and today would not be any different. My name is Omenka Oluchi Precious, and it's a privilege to be your anchor for today. Of course, I brought the full squad, and you get to meet them just after this break. We'll take a break now shortly, and when we return, we'll look through the headlines across the globe. Stay with us. All right, welcome back, viewers. It's Ways Breakfast, as every day, Mondays to Fridays, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. And I am here with my full squad. My name is Omenka Oluchi. Hi, girls.
Hello. Hi. Hello.
Good morning. How are you all doing today?
I'm fine, thank you.
You know, I usually like Thursdays and Wednesdays because it's a full house.
Right.
We bring the whole ginger and energy, and I'm sure you guys are ready for today.
Oh, yes. Let's say why not?
You're ready to say a lot of things today.
Yes. We're ready to
shake
the table.
And I'm ready for that. So how are you doing, Shola?
Oh, yes. I thought my yesterday rather would be quite restful, but Bible said no.
It's an Bible
said no.
Bible, your account balance.
No.
Not even you're making more money and then you want to work.
I thought I was going to like have a half day rather yesterday, but no, my day was even more of outside, and then coming back inside it was very stressful. But then look at me, I'm here up and healthy,
looking
you know,
good.
sound.
Looking up bright and colorful. How about you, God's Beauty? What have you been up to?
Oh my God. So I mean, just like she said, I feel like yesterday was just in between, a bit restful, and at the same time I had like work to do. I was mentally stressed because, yeah, you know, there are times where you have like work to do and you can't physically can't do it, but I'm literally working on my head. So I'm working in my head, right? So that was just how stressful my day was. But it was okay. It was okay.
All right, well, we're back to work, and we have a lot of things to say today.
Yes,
okay,
yes.
Kia, I cannot pass you. How have you been? What have you been up to?
I'm just existing.
You're just existing
Yes, I'm
with
happy
this
to
glow
be-
like this.
I'm happy to be existing.
This can't be existing. This has to be living.
It has to be more.
Come on.
It has to be more.
All right, guys, we won't take the headlines across the globe now, and I'll be starting with the Punch newspaper. It says here, the major headline reads that the federal government warns of mass sacking as Labour disowns agreement. Unrealistic minimum wage will cause job losses, Minister tells Labour. Underneath it, we also have sexual harassment. Head of service suspends, permanent secretary and others probe. Ondo man nabbed with 8 skulls, human part. Motorist groans as Ogun Market causes gridlock on Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. And above the major headline, we have federal government and World Bank begin talks on 90,000-kilometer fiber optic cable project. Also above that, we have the hashtag End Hunger protesters seek end to economic hardship. And federal government threatens to punish schools shunning safety guidelines, and the governors demand refund from $10 billion NIPP investment. What an interesting news. I see that the whole minimum wage story is still trending.
Yes, trending, yeah.
And this one is quite remarkable. It says the federal government warns of mass sacking as Labour's disowns agreement, meaning that if they do not agree to this, it's going to cause a lot of job losses. How does this sound?
For me, we as Nigerians should put our mouth in one place, like my people will say. We're supposed to stand in unity. If the Labour, who are the board, they are the top, asking for what we want on our own behalf. If they want us to earn this certain amount, then let's stick to what they want us to earn. Yes, we understand that if they want to start the mass sacking, they might not even fire them. They'll fire the people at the local government, people working in different states.
Sectors.
They really need your money. And by so doing, there'll be disunity because they want to protect their own job. But it's okay, government, anything you give us, would accept it. But on the NLC leaders, Joe Ajaero, the TUC leaders, and all of them, they'll be there trying to. So I just feel like federal government should just agree to one thing. Yes, they want this. Oh, you're ready to offer this. Then let's come to the middle because it's as good as 10 and 100. The distance is far.
Yeah.
But let's compare 60 and 40. Is a bit close. Okay, let's say 70 and 30, still a bit close. Yes, we know it's getting far, but it's still a bit close. We cannot say 260. Let's try to bring it, okay, let's pay 80. Okay, let's pay 90. We follow our parents to the market now. Okay, how much is this fish?
Negotiate.
You negotiate. negotiate well. That's
I
it
really
for
feel
me.
like the whole threat, cause that they want to put out is going to cause some resistance that we really do not want to see.
Yes, yes.
And their claims towards reducing this is because they are trying to consider the implication of this push for an unrealistic higher national minimum wage. It seems unrealistic to them, but to us, we know why we're clamoring for this increase.
Well, I have a different view of the whole minimum wage, and I'm talking from the small-scale business type.
Okay.
I keep saying that your minimum wage would be identified when I come to find a job. Like if I'm looking for a job and I know that my minimum wage is supposed to be 100,000 naira, as the government has agreed, and if you want to pay me less, I might fight that. No, I know how much I should be earning. The economy says I should be earning this, but if you're going to pay me less, I won't. But this might be a new business that's just starting out. That's number one. Number two, the company might not be producing that much to be able to afford such minimum wage. And if you look at different states in Nigeria, everyone has the cost of products, the way they live, the kind of things that they earn. If you go to a different state, they might tell you that the pepper you're buying for 1,000 naira, you can buy it for as low as 300, 500 naira.
Yes.
So the minimum wage is like an average of what every Nigerian should be earning. I believe it should go up, but I think that going above is where we're going to have
it should
the
be
issue.
realistic.
Yes, it should be realistic.
All right, so let's see what you have for us on the
Well,
news today.
taking you through the Guardian newspaper, as always, the headline reads, Nigeria's unity cannot be traded without your support. I won't fall. Tinubu says that. And below that, we have military accused of laxity as bandits abduct 4 in Bomo. Beside that, we have Democracy Day. Lead with integrity. Put people first. Khan urges leaders. Then opposition kicks at governors, deputy speakers. Others abandon Niger for pilgrimage. And beside that, Obi says Nigeria requires new constitution urgently. That includes him, Nwanchukwu, and Ayoku. Below that, we have new minimum wage may plunge Nigeria into deeper crisis. Soludo and others warn. And then below that, we have Randy lecturers accused of frustrating female students in Ebonyi University. I have 2 stories here that catches my attention.
Right.
Number one is the headline saying Nigeria's unity cannot be traded without your support. I won't fall. In quotes, I won't fall. Something happened yesterday which I found, quite surprising when people started reposting it. And they didn't say it in the light of expressing concerns. It's in the light of mockery.
Catching cruise?
Yes, catching cruise. Yes, which for me, I feel like that's what we always do.
Always do.
We're always distracting ourselves with something new.
Yeah.
While I feel that is funny to some people, maybe because of the age, and then they feel like he's falling because of his age, and that's why we need the youth, in this position. But if you look at history, many people are falling. Even us as human beings, there are so many times that it's one small stone that
Celebrities
we
fall
don't
on
even
the
know.
stage when
We
they
don't
are
even know that
performing.
stone has been there.
Thank you.
And then that's when you'll not be like, my angel saved me. Thank God. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you. All of that.
Yesterday's drama was more of mockery, so to say.
Ridicule, big
It
time.
was more of ridicule. It was not okay, we understand that not too many people like the president of the country, which is like the truth, right? So any
Not too
little
many is quite a very absolute statement. What is the statistics that prove that?
Okay, yes, let's say a few people.
Some people,
Yeah,
yes.
thank you very much. Let's say a few people, some people do not really like the president. So anything he does, either right or wrong, they'll find wrong in the right.
Yeah.
So now you should not fall down. No, now
There's always a
I saw
Nobody, you cannot be liked by everyone, which I
Definitely.
which I believe.
Which is normal.
Well, the second one is the Randy lecturers accused of frustrating female students in Ebonyi University. And I think that this has been going on for
ages.
Years and years and years after, where females are either sexually abused, mentally abused by male lecturers.
Yeah.
And it's about results,
Scores,
it's
grades,
always
and all
something.
that.
Yeah.
And I can say that for a fact because I've experienced these things. You go to school, your mommy say come out with first class, and one lecturer is telling you that
I don't
the
give
only
A's.
way I can assure you I want to assure you that I can give you this score if you do this for me, which is probably against your own values and policies of life. But then you'll be forced and frustrated to the fact that when you check your result and you're seeing 0, there's nothing you can do.
But,
I've seen cases where...
Kiki, on the flip side, a video trended yesterday on X, where a lady said she went to a podcast. She talked about how she aced all her grades in school via the body means, and then the school requested that she return the certificate within 48 hours. She was now crying that, oh, why would she have to return? So she works hard for it. She puts in effort. She puts in money and blood. So it takes two to tango. It takes a lecturer that wants it, and it takes a student that's ready to give it.
It's not only that.
Sorry. I understand that there are times that you do not have a choice, because right now it's not even gender bias. Your male lecturer can want a male student. We know, right? A female lecturer can want a male student. A female lecturer can want a female student. And it happens like that. So at times some do not have a choice, because after begging and you said, okay, you really don't have the power at the time, they succumb to it. But some actually have the power.
We can drag this over and over, but we need to get to the next.
Okay, taking a good look at the Vanguard newspaper. On the major headline here reads, still on Democracy Day talks, eminent citizens, elder statesman chat forward. Right under the major headline, as protests hit Abuja, Lagos, Osun, Kaduna, we need more constitution to halt Nigerians' collapse, says Anyoko. And let's take a good look at the top of the Vanguard headline, Vanguard newspaper rather. The story here says Nigeria's crude oil production dropped from 1.25 in May, says OPEC. And then right under from the political sector, Lukman says APC can no longer win election without rigging. Before, right after it, why 1 trillion naira is needed to fund legacy projects, says NDDC. Still on Labour talks, Labour rejects Tinubu's claim of minimum wage agreement. Right under this story here says, why I support full local government autonomy, says Governor Abdulrazak. And below that, Eagle Square sleep, Tinubu not Superman, says presidency. The headline that caught my attention the most is, Tinubu is not a Superman. He does not have a magical wand that will say,
he's a man just like
and Nigeria will shift from good to excellent. And Nigeria will move from developing to developed. So it takes time. It takes, let's take it one step at a time. That's it on the Vanguard newspaper.
All right, so let's quickly move on to the international space. I'll be taking the New York Times newspaper. So the left side of the newspaper reads, their economy brings Nigeria vast hardship, daily struggle for food and health care. Right side of the newspaper, President's son is found guilty on gun charges, lied about drug use, conviction on felonies, rise stake of second case against him. Middle of the newspaper, secrets a candidate's big herd and matching funds, take fake donors. Beneath that, 2-0 to run. North Dakotans vote on limits. Bottom left of the newspaper reads, a former aide to the Clintons who now has Kennedy's ear. But the right side, which is the last paper, the last headline on the newspaper says, Florida cannot deny minors transgender. So the headline that piqued my interest is the headline at the left side of the newspaper that says, Dare economy brings Nigeria vast hardship, daily struggle for food and health care. So Kano, Nigeria, Nigeria faces its worst economic crisis in decades with soaring inflation, a collapsing currency, and a widespread of food insecurity. Now, despite Nigeria's resilience in generating their own resources and defending their communities, the crisis has pushed their resourcefulness to the brink, exemplified by overcrowded emergency rooms filled with malnutrition cases. So it's interesting how our issue got into the international space. It's too interesting.
I was used to hearing Hamas war from...
Do you get... No, honestly, when I saw it, I'm like, you know what, let's speak about it. Because, I mean, it shows that it's no longer a news that we here are suffering we are having a lot of issues,
Right.
you know. But it's interesting how we have these issues and somehow we don't allow international bodies even come to our aid.
Yeah.
I remember early this year where we had issue during that time where we had those Kaduna issues where there were a whole lot of villains,
Insurgency.
yeah, and all of that. And I remember US coming to say, okay, you know what, if you guys need help, just tell me and we'll come help you guys with insecurity. Guess what? Till today, what was only stated on the newspaper was that Tinubu was doing a review and was trying to know, you know, speaking to the NAS and all of that.
But
Till today, there's no updates on whether he accepted or not.
Okay, let me
Before we leave this scene, thank you, Kiki. Before we leave this scene, our president right now is huge on international relations. This week is traveling to Dubai, UAE to collaborate. The next week is traveling to another country to collaborate. So let's say he is the president and she's more than. So I think probably there are terms and conditions that they are not even stating.
Right.
You know, they might say, okay, we are ready to offer you a whole cow, but what do you have to give us in return?
Exactly what
So that's what I feel like. There's
because
a reason
these
why.
are the same people
Don't you think
that
those
came
things would
to
have been?
There's a background story to when the West, we call them the West, right?
All right,
Yeah.
we're going
Come
to have
and
to put
help
a
us.
pause to our conversation
Okay.
now, and then we'll return to talk about it much later.
All right.
All right, viewers, we'll take another short break. And when we return, we're discussing a very critical topic that we have for today. A very engaging one, very educative, and we hope that you take something home if you're not already home. The topic is understanding the impact of menstrual health and PCOS on women's lives. Very interesting. Do not go anywhere. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Nigeria, by extension, Africa, is faced with a lot of challenges.
With the growing youth population and very little engagement.
That is a ticking time bomb.
We're blessed people with a diverse culture who have a lot to say.
And yes, we are talking.
It is important we drive conversations that informs, inspires, and influences thoughts and actions.
If we say there is beauty in diversity, then let us embrace our diverse culture.
We must continue to courageously be the voice of transformation.
As we are the hope for the future,
Yesterday's conversation shaped today.
What are you saying to shape your tomorrow?
We know you have a lot to say, and we are here to hear you.
Welcome back, viewers. It's still Ways Breakfast. What are you saying? And I have wonderful ladies with me to join me on a very important conversation that we really need to explore. So today's topic is understanding the impact of menstrual health and PCOS in the lives of women. And I'm sure this conversation shouldn't be very new to you because in recent times, we've seen how that it's been making waves and a whole lot of people are talking about it now. So on the table today, we want to discuss it. All right, so I'll read some things that I want us to, have as a background as we discuss this topic.
Okay.
It says PCOS, in case you're wondering what we're talking about. PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome, is a hormonal imbalance that occurs when the ovaries creates excess hormones. And if one has PCOS, the ovaries produce unusually high levels of hormones called androgens, and this causes your reproductive hormones to become imbalanced. And as a result, people with PCOS often have irregular menstrual cycles, missed periods, and unpredictable ovulation. PCOS can also cause anxiety, depression, and a negative body image. Some symptoms such as infertility, obesity, and unwanted hair growth can lead to social stigma. So this can affect other life areas such as family, relationship, work, involvement in the community. So for today's conversation, we're not really diving into the health dynamics of PCOS and all of that because we're not gynecologists. We are presenters and talk girls. We want to discuss the impact of this in women's health and how it affects them on a broader spectrum. Do you understand that? So I'd like to ask my ladies, my beautiful ladies, a lot of questions. You know, when it comes to we females, I mean, women, we're just so unique. A lot of things happens to us. We're the ones that always trend. We're trending. We are always clamoring for inclusivity, for equality, and then our health is also in stake. And when it comes to PCOS and menstrual health, and even our sexual health, there are lots of myths surrounding this. Let's even start from menstrual health. I'm sure you've heard of this misconception that menstruation shouldn't be painful. Or menstruation pain, rather, forgive me, is normal. Have you heard that before?
Yes.
You hear some people tell you if you're having pains during your menstruation and you are acting all cranky, you know, you are putting up an act, people will tell you that, what's really wrong with you? Is it not your period?
Yeah.
Are you not a woman? You should be okay with that. Just sit up, take Felvin. That's like the most common pain relief. Take Felvin, put hot water, you'll be fine. Come off it, that kind of thing. And people have generalized it. So even when people are really suffering and are going through a lot of things that are bigger than just that cramps you're seeing, it's usually put aside. So let's discuss, how can we put out, you know, the right truth concerning these misconceptions we have concerning menstrual pain. Do you understand what I say?
Yeah, I do.
All right, please go ahead.
Okay.
Who wants to go first? All right.
Okay, I will go first. Well,
the woman in the house.
for menstrual health, it's a topic that has been going on for a long time. Yes, I'll say that again. And we have mothers, sisters, friends, where in a family of 5, you might be the only one having menstrual pain.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then it seems like every time you complain, you're doing too much.
Yeah.
Sometimes it gets to a point where some people vomit while they're having their period on the first day. Some go through immense pain that you have to rush them to the hospital. That's if you even take them seriously. But it has increased over the years, and that's because the value of life, that's lifestyle, climate change, all these things have affected the health of women.
Yeah.
And then we now have more cases of menstrual cramps, PCOS, sexual, hormonal imbalance, infertility, and so many cases like that. So I feel like what we need to do is awareness, which is one of the things that we're doing right now, to let people know that if I feel pain, it's unique to me. And then there's so much advice on why don't you use Buscopan, why don't you use Felvin, why don't you use this? And it has happened to me once. I used Felvin and it stopped my period. Other people have used it and it helps them with the pain. That is the difference. That's why I say whatever it is I'm feeling is unique to me. Yes, you can help me say, oh, when I used Felvin, he helped me. But when I told the person that recommended it to me, she was like, your own, now wow. And so it made me feel like, is my case different?
Yeah.
I felt bad and I couldn't speak up after that time that, okay, so what else would I use? This is me that has used every kind of pain relief that they have recommended should help you, reduce the pain. But it always gives me the opposite. And then the next month, I might not even see my period. And then I have to wait till the following, and then it becomes worse when it eventually comes out. So that one is what I feel like people should all understand. Women, men should understand that whatever it is I'm feeling is unique to me. You can advise me, but also be empathetic about it. That's it.
All right, let's hear what you have to say.
I attended a girls-only secondary school. And attending a girls-only secondary school, I appreciate the fact that they constantly taught us about menstrual health. You will see branded pads company coming to us at GSS2. So at the time, I was selling my pads to my elder sisters because I've just started menstruating there. So but they were giving us free pads.
Yes,
GS2, they
yes.
will
If
come.
you had known, you would have
GS3.
saved it because the
I
price
would
of
have,
pads these
right?
days.
So they educated us, and as a girls' school, you will see different girls with different menstrual pains. There are girls that the day they are not sitting on their chair, you know, okay, it's that time of the month.
Yeah.
There are girls that if they are too cranky, you know, that they are, so in a class of like 60, in a class of like 40 girls, 40 different menstrual ills. So right from when I was growing up as a child, I started in that secondary school. I understood, okay, I would not take drugs. So just like you said, drugs at times often affect your period. You
Yeah, it
have
changes
hormonal
the
imbalance,
cycle.
it changes your cycle, and next 2-3 months you will not see your period. Then it is also important that we educate the men. Some men are traditional men.
I agree.
Always
Some
it comes with
men
that
will not
angle,
understand.
shirtly.
Okay, let me not dive into that. We need to understand that we are different. The way I would feel, yes, I menstruate every month, but my feelings, and at times every month is different.
Yes.
There are times that
I
for
agree.
5 days I won't be able to eat. I lose appetite, and for 5 days, I will not eat anything. I'm probably just drinking water or coffee because I need that hot compression, right? And there are times that for that 5 days, I would eat like.
And to be sincere,
do you
there's no
understand?
break. There's premenstrual cramp, postmenstrual cramp,
There
ovulation.
is ovulation.
There's
So
period
it doesn't
itself.
Yeah, strong women. All right, got to
Okay,
what do you have to
if
say
I'm
about that
let me just throw
misconception?
more light because, to be honest, they've said it all, right? So I hear her when she said awareness, and I hear her when she said educating the males. To be honest, like without those two in place, then you've not even started talking about it. Do you understand what I mean? Then another thing is, I understand that we are in Nigeria right now. Everybody has the whole money challenge. Everybody has the whole SAPA and all of those things, right? But it's important that you are very close to a health, do I say a health practitioner or a health facilitator, someone that's just close to the health sector, so that way you know how to take care of your body system. Just like you said, the truth is no matter how you try to create awareness or no matter how you try to educate people, there are people that would want to stay ignorant. There are people that would want to listen, right? So it's just important that regardless of how you feel, you have to now learn how to put yourself, how to control your emotions, how to, be able to take care of yourself when you're menstruating. So yeah, that's important.
So the essence
to be
of this
honest.
conversation is to drive home the narrative that we want to drive home. When it comes to pain, I really feel like nobody should tell you how to react to pain.
Yes.
Because if you're not feeling what I am feeling, you have no right to tell me how I should respond to that. I remember a conversation I had with someone, or I listened rather. And the person is a single father. So, of course, single father now. What do you know about periods?
Right.
There's no woman in your life to help with your daughter's menstrual time of the month. So the lady was having incredible pain and she fainted. You can imagine such pain. And then the father took her to the hospital and the doctor was like, it's normal now. Can you imagine? How is it normal that your daughter fainted? Many times, there's always an underlying issue. Do you understand?
Yes.
It's not just the cramps or just manage through these 3, 4, 5 days later and afterwards you'll be fine. Many times there's an underlying issue. It could be fibroids. It could be something bigger. It could be cancer. So when we understand and become more empathic, like she mentioned, and understand that this is pain, why is this pain like that? So we are debunking that myth that says that menstrual pain is normal. It is not normal. If you feel pain, please make the noise you ought to make about it so that the right concerns and the right attitude or responses can come to you.
So, I want to talk about PCOS. We understand that it's quite common, so I just want to read a bit of the statistics. It affects 1 in 6 infertile women in Nigeria. Local studies have reported rates between 13.8% and 18.1%, which means rather 70% of women is affected by 70%. 70% of the affected women end up having infertility issues and all of that. Now, I'll talk a little about the causes, the symptoms, and what they notice when they start to play out. Abnormal menstruation. There are some ladies that, when we're taught as a child then, when you start your menstruation, you will menstruate for like 2-3 months, then it will stop for a while, then it's not come back and it's not start being regular, then you're not able to count your cycle days, 28 days, 29 days, 30 days. Now, at times it starts with abnormal menstruation, then absence of menstruation, heavy menstruation, irregular menstruation, short or light menstruation, and spotting when you are not pregnant. Then it also have obesity, overweight, weight gain, infertility, acne, depression, loss of scalp, oily skin, unwanted hair, and all like that. Now, there's a difference between fibroids and PCOS, but it's very common among women that when you go to a gynae clinic, if a lady is there, that she's coming to complain about PCOS or irregular period, and they ask her to do, okay, go and do hormonal profile test, go and do your distinct test, or she's coming to complain about fibroids. And I can say most ladies, or no, I'm not trying to generalize now, but let's say 5 out of 10 ladies have either done fibroid surgery, and it's at young age. I happened to be at Anike's house at Lutz for like a year and a half in my life, and oh God, it wasn't a sweet experience. It wasn't a sweet experience. That's why it gets under my nerve when I see men not appreciating women for just menstruating.
I even want us to really talk about,
because before you even menstruate, there's period, this thing, there's all these hormonal, these unnecessary things that come. After menstruating for 5 days, then you start feeling another thing. After like 5 days after, then another thing comes in. I don't know if you use your menstruation app. You start seeing different time. So it feels like it doesn't earn. It feels like out of 30 to 31 days, we only have like 2 days to ourselves to enjoy your full sane
There's an ideology that now we go chop apple, and that's why that is happening.
So we are taking the implications of that. You know, we've been mentioning something that is very key in our conversation, that we need to include the men to be involved in this. And I don't know, growing up, I never imagined talking to my father about menstruation. It felt weird. Even in class, if you notice, those are secondary school, you know, runabout. If you want to ask for parts, it's almost like you're hiding it, like you're carrying a bomb. Well, I mean, what's the whole fuss about that? So I want to ask, how can we make this not just a woman's concern, but everybody, your brothers, your father, your male friends? How can
inclusiveness?
Be involved. As a child?
Yes.
What do you mean by that?
As a mother, I'm raising 2 kids, a boy and a girl. I need to start letting the boy know that there's something called period. Your sister at a point in her life will menstruate. And you two at a point where you start having the likes of blue balls, the likes of wet dreams. So I need to educate the 2 of them. Okay, there's something called blue balls. There's something called wet dreams. And as for her as your sister, there's something called period. Every month you need to buy pad. You don't need to start saying, oh, my sister is bleeding.
You don't need to start hiding your pad somewhere like, don't see that, don't see that.
And then teachers in schools too, when a girl in class, I didn't have the opportunity to attend a mixed school, so I didn't like have that. I grew up with sisters, so till like junior days before I started to mix with the other gender, right? So it felt all normal. Everybody around was female, my sisters, my house, my school, even my environment. So, but as a teacher, when a student in your class complains about period, don't make her feel like she has done the abominable thing.
I'm just a human.
And then the guys don't say, because you're menstruating, don't sit down on my child, don't sit down on my car, don't sit in my car. There's this traditional belief that when a lady is menstruating, she spoils things. I don't know who brought that idea.
She spoils things.
She spoils things. There's some people that they won't allow you to touch them.
Are you referring to like religious stance?
Even church. Are you sure that's not superstition or something?
No, there are some churches that till today, when you are menstruating, you do not come to
that's
church.
some religious beliefs.
That's some religious beliefs. Some people are still living in the Old Testament.
Even down to not fasting.
To be honest, so down to not even okay, I refuse to mention names of churches or religions. There are some that you cannot pray when you're your menstrual flow.
Exactly. Yeah.
And you have to have a bath after that menstrual flow. So okay, I'm now done with this, so I am now clean. I cannot start praying.
Exactly.
All right. So I'd like to hear what you have to say about that, Okiki.
Well, I grew up with boys. I have a boy before me, and I have 2 boys after me. So I can tell you that they did the job. And sometimes they are still doing the job. If I need to buy something, especially when it has to do with female, items, I will send them there. And they're like, you want me to enter the store and tell them, I say, you will buy. Because you will have a wife.
Many times when you get to the store, you're always like, I want to buy. You can't even say it out.
What I'm trying to let them know is that as much as you are part of my life in every other aspect, you are part of my life in this phase also. So if I ask you that this is what I would need, if your support is maybe by buying the pad, your support is maybe boiling the water, maybe to ease my pain. Different ways. Maybe you bring it, I'm sending you the next thing. And like I will see my other sisters, leave them, and then show the boys that this is what you should help me do. And they have been so kind to you know, oblige and, you know, help out. They might make a joke like, now, wow, only you. But they do it whilst asking the next day that, okay, are you fine now? And the next day I'm quite jumpy. Sometimes it's not like that. But on that first day, I'm a mess. But on the second day, I might be jumpy and everywhere. They're like, please don't invite me on your first days. I don't want to be there. But those are the kind of things that we also need to do.
Yeah.
We now have where 10 to 12-year-olds are now having their periods.
Yes, 9-year-olds.
Yes, even 9-year-olds. So what would you expect a 9-year-old to be able to say? In fact, on their first day of period, maybe they enter the bathroom and all of a sudden they are seeing blood. They don't know how to react. So it also depends on when I come and tell my mother, my brother, my friend that I just saw my period. Some kids can even hide that period and take, you know, sometimes on the first day it doesn't flow as much as you would expect. And then you take it to school. And then you are telling your friend, you're probably in primary school. Most 9-year-olds are still in primary school now, junior secondary school. Like, I saw this and it's still there. But then there's fear from maybe from the house or what your friend will say from school. And that will start to shape what your mind is going to feel like about periods, about how you should express yourself when you're having your period. Even in the workplace, I should be able to freely say, oh, I'm not feeling my best mood today, I'm having my period.
Well, it doesn't work like that.
I want you to hold
space.
on that thought.
Okay.
We're going to come back and, you know, spread on that. All right, viewers, we'll take another short break and we'll listen to Today in History. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Nigeria, by extension, Africa, is faced with a lot of challenges.
With the growing youth population and very little engagement.
That is a ticking time bomb.
We're blessed people with a diverse culture who have a lot to say.
And yes, we are talking.
It is important we drive conversations that informs, inspires, and influences thoughts and actions.
If we say there is beauty in diversity, then let us embrace our diverse culture.
We must continue to courageously be the voice of transformation.
As we are the hope for the future,
yesterday's conversation shaped today.
What are you saying to shape your tomorrow?
We know you have a lot to say, and we are here to hear you.
All right, welcome back, viewers. It's still Ways Breakfast. What are you saying? And from 8 a.m. till now, we've been saying a lot of things concerning menstrual health, PCOS, and we're going to continue just in that line. So before we dive into the conversations that we had, I want to read some tweets I found on PCOS. It says here, by the PCOS chick on Instagram, she says, having facial hair doesn't mean she's less than a woman. And not every woman who has facial hair has PCOS. Be properly informed. That's more like a warning. Then Shamsuddin Giwa also mentioned that better understanding prevents insensitive comments on facial hair, acne, and weight. It increases support. Yet many don't know what PCOS even is. So educate those around you, tag them on informative posts, discuss, and that's why we're having this discussion today. So there's a very important, or is it very common symptom with PCOS, which is facial hair, and that distortion in their body, sort of, you know, they have irregular periods, they gain weight so much, and that affects their esteem. And because of the kind of world that we live in, we have a lot of insensitive people that doesn't even care. They are quick to open their mouth and say, why is your beer like this?
Where are you getting fat?
Exactly. You know, I've heard that, you know, commenting on people's weight is really, really an insult. You should learn to be very sensitive.
Yeah.
So how can we address that insensitivity that people have? When you see someone that is already looking different, how can you address it so that you don't become very insensitive? What do you have to say?
Okay, first, I'd like to read out these comments from our YouTube page.
Okay.
You can also go drop your comments on that same platform or a different platform. This comment is coming from Uma Nelly. She said, I used to be in a situation where I throw up when I'm having menstrual cramps. The pains used to be severe. You will lose appetite, your mood will change. The only drug that worked for her then is Felvin.
Yeah, exactly what she
Some
said.
are also hereditary. Now, back to PCOS. I literally read about it, popped up on my TikTok timeline, and the lady literally highlighted what she has been going through suffering from PCOS. So I read about it, and it says there is no exact cause of PCOS.
Okay.
So it means it just comes, and there is no cure for PCOS. It just comes, and there is no cure for it. Now, we need to understand that you cannot shame people. The fact that a lady is chubby, you do not know why she's chubby.
Yes.
The fact that a lady has, she looks like half white, or she looks, her skin color, or she has body tags here and there, you cannot shame the person. At times, read up about things before you open your mouth.
Yeah.
And the
At
comments
times, keep your mouth.
Keep your
must
mouth
not always
shut.
comment.
I think more people need to be
They need to be
empathetic
aware.
than sympathetic
Recently-
about things, issues generally.
Recently, I learned about dyslexia and ADHD also.
Okay.
And I had to read about it. I was like, oh, wow. And I'm very quick to correct people's English online. No, go back. It's not it's I apostrophe M or I am. Not that some people actually do not have, some people do not actually know how to type well, or they have spelling issues or something.
Yeah.
I do not know. But now I'm enlightening.
So
the
yeah,
next
you've
thing-
changed. Have you
Oh,
changed?
to be honest,
Okay,
I
that's
have.
good.
So when it comes
writing
to
bad
women's
English to
health,
test
you
it.
cannot overemphasize it. Just ensure that you are not talking down. Look at she's beautiful. I do not have the right to say, oh, why are you chubby? Why is your hair blonde? Why is this? Why is that? No, she's blonde because she wants to be blonde. She's chubby because she wants to be chubby. If she wants to be slim, and she knows the way to the gym. She knows how to cut down
Just
her
like
diet.
Kanu Reeves
Right.
said,
One
he said,
of the,
if you tell me
I'm so
now
sorry,
that
Kiki. So let me just land on this point. One problem I had growing up as a child is I had a small stature.
Okay.
So my parents would even call me Oleku in my diet. I mean, I remain somewhere. That I'm not complete. That my body's supposed to remain somewhere. So growing up till that early age, having this small stature, you can imagine what I went through.
it's never a problem anymore.
I want us to
Yeah.
take this conversation to another lane.
Okay.
So yes, we're talking about educating ourselves, enlightening
I
ourselves. We
agree.
need to understand what is and what is not. And I think that everything starts from school, right? Education starts from school. But there's this controversy that when it comes to sexual health, there's the age limit. When do we discuss about sexuality? When we discuss about sexual health, that would even, you know, this PCOS can fall under that bracket. So I know some parents that feel very uncomfortable talking about puberty. Talking about development of breast, your menstruation to a child, because they feel like you will spoil the child. I don't know where we got such information from.
That is the
So I want to
problem.
ask you God's beauty.
Okay.
Because I know you're already feeling very... when do you think this education should come in?
It should start immediately the child knows how to talk. And this is it. So oftentimes you hear cases of, oh, this so-so teenager is just 14 years and this person is already having sex. Why is this person having sex? The truth is, there's not been any proper information or education being passed. Now, immediately a child start hearing you, start saying, mama, papa, daddy, mommy. I feel like that is when you should start doing the education. I am not saying you should see a child of that age and say, oh, do you know what is called sex? Or there's a thing like,
that would be so ambiguous for the child.
So you have to start with the age of that child. I don't think there should be an age limit. Immediately that child starts speaking. Now the child already knows that, okay, this is my head, this is my shoulder. Why can you not tell the child that, okay, this is what this is called? Don't come and call it spoon or something else.
I think I've heard educators say You know, when you're talking to your child, you can tell them to touch their body.
Yes.
Nobody touches this place.
Exactly.
Nobody touches
that trended early this year.
Trended
early this year.
But the essence of this particular discussion is not just sexuality and sex and sexual health. It's about this trending problem called PCOS, because it has caused infertility for people. And even younger ladies that find themselves in this position, they don't know what's happening to them. I see my period January, I don't see it again till December. Between January and December, they're already worried that what's happening to me, and they do not know. So how can we start putting this in the education system, you know, with even parents? So if, unfortunately, you find yourself here, you're not going to think that something really bad is happening to you.
Okay, so let's
drive it around that.
Let me I just want to say two things, right? So the first one is, when it comes to this irregular menstruating, it has happened to me, or menstruation, it has happened to me, right? And I feel like there are two causes. It's either health-wise, and now there are some of us that don't eat properly. I am a victim of that, or how do I put that exactly? I have issue with eating, so I am not the foodie type, but I want to go for pastries. I want to go for food that will not even help me. Do you get what I mean? Instead of going for the normal balanced diet, I would prefer to go and get a shawarma. I'm sorry. do you understand what I'm saying?
But that's even more expensive.
It depends on how you see it. So it's not about the expense now. It's about what I like. Growing up, my mom is always preparing eba. Permits me to say, almost every night we are eating eba, and the way she cooks her soup. I
think we grew up in the same house.
Oh no, the way she cooks her soup. So the only few times that we have to eat like the normal food, like spaghetti. You actually have to eat spaghetti like once in a week. Then why are we eating eba almost every day? Do you get what I mean? So because of that, it made me not like eba. Even to now, in short, I don't eat eba because of how much.
Don't ever give eba to God's beauty.
Because of how much. Because I feel like she made us something I'm always seeing every time. I just had this feeling that I don't like this anymore, right? So it made me start eating. I started eating, not irregularly now, but I started eating junk foods, right? So sometimes it's not just about our health. It's not just about the disease part or like the health part. Now, sometimes we have to check our diet as well. Yeah. Because I started having those irregularities because of the way I was eating. But guess what? When I started eating well, and I started joining the swallow people and started taking some semo, do you understand? And I started becoming better. Like right from when I started seeing it doesn't ever like work. Today I'm seeing 20. Next month I'm seeing like 5. So I cannot even tell when this is going to come. Do you get?
Let me take it from there. God's beauty. Not every missing period is PCOS. There's something called hormonal imbalance. We as ladies, our body are so sensitive. If you change location today, your period will change.
Exactly.
If you start drinking different water, your period will change.
I agree.
If you start eating
there's this myth that says that when ladies stay together, they see their period together. So does it mean that myth? I really need to check it. So
you haven't heard
that.
I've heard that.
It has happened to me.
There was a way that I used to track my period. That was like some years back, up till now.
Okay.
My friend has 2 days before mine, and then I see mine after.
Okay.
And then that's when we started doing besties, because sometimes it's not a day after. So if I've not seen mine maybe that day, maybe because of stress or something, I'm asking her.
That's a risky way of calculating.
Have you seen yours? She's like, no, not yet. I said, oh, okay, cool. You're stressed, I'm sure. But I want to talk about the health sector.
Okay.
When you were mentioning that when people find out that they are having maybe pain, facial hairs, hormonal imbalance, when they go to the hospital, what kind of response do they get? That is so important, especially when you go to general hospitals. If you go to a private hospital, they might sympathize with you and try to make you feel better about it.
I mean,
but if you go to
so you have a bias for them.
But when you go to most general hospitals, and then you meet mothers who have had their period, and they can tell you that they have had children and grandchildren, and even they have experience in maternity and all of that stuff. When you go and say, I think I have symptoms of this, I think I have symptoms of hormonal imbalance or infertility, the first question might be, how old are you? Number one.
How does age got to,
that's why that's part of it.
Sorry,
How old are you?
Sorry, ladies. I have a different opinion about it. Like I said, there was a time in my life that I went to lose Anike's house for about a year and a half, and to be honest, they treated me well. I understand that some
That's
ladies,
why I said some. I did not generalize.
I kind of agree.
Sorry,
let's get to hear what.
I understand that some nurses and matrons, the older ones, they get to why are you like this? Why are you like this?
Yeah.
But then we at times lie to our doctors when they ask, when was the last time you had sex? When was the last time you actually had sex? When was the last time you saw your period? When was the last time you actually saw your period? Or have you been taking any drug or supplement? Some people will start lying. You're not being truthful to yourself. And all these things that goes into your bloodstream
But on the larger part, I'm not talking about you lying now. I'm talking about the response of doctors, matrons.
That was why I said
nurses.
some matrons can be, how old are you? You are 12. You cannot see your period. I understand that some of them can be like that. But at the end of the day, when they set you up to meet a consultant or a gynecologist, you end up doing hormonal profile tests. They end up asking you, okay, do you have too much testosterone? Because there are some ladies that they have too much testosterone in their body. It means their body system is a boy's body system, but they have a girl's outlook. Yes, which explains some facial outlook, some outlook of hair. So not every hair beard is actually. Some ladies have more testosterone than, I think, estrogen also. Some ladies have more estrogen than. So all these things come to play. You need to understand your body. It's more than just buying pad every month. And then for the nurses, our mothers, we know you don't educate us enough because you're shy to say there's something. Oh, that reminds me, as regards children, call breast. Exactly. Don't call breast something. There was time I engaged in child education of sex. The woman told her child that your pubic area is called I think a chocolate or something. So someone was assaulting the girl, but she was telling the teacher that, okay, Uncle Kineko is touching my chocolate. The teacher didn't see it as chocolate is normal. Then besides, it's your driver.
Oh, wow.
So call pubic area. Call breast.
Let me mention something. When she said, when do we start education? And she said, as soon as she starts speaking. While I completely agree with you,
to be honest,
we've had cases where there was a 7-year-old that had been raped and vandalized by a fellow neighbor in the compound because it was a tight compound, face me, I slap you kind of situation. Now, at that point, the lady, that's the mother in question, had beat the hell out of that child's body just because she said that she did not speak up when it started. But when the child came to, the organization that was taking care of her, one of the things that I still took her out of that organization was, the first question they asked her was, demonstrate. What do you mean by demonstrate? Like, you're asking a child that is going through that trauma, a 7-year-old. I don't know if you know how small a 7-year-old is. You're asking that child to demonstrate what the person did to her, rather than first, understand, get her treated, make sure that she had, people don't find that mental health is actually important. Even in children, they always feel like, as an adult, now it's a common thing that say, oh, my mental health is being affected. A child that doesn't even know what mental health is would not know that her mental health has been affected up to that point.
All right, we need to put this conversation on the
Let me take this quick comment before I put it on the
All right, let's do that.
This person says, Ephraim from our YouTube says, I believe that sensitizing people on PCOS is very important, but sensitizing women on how to manage PCOS is also very important too. I grew up with only boys. This is so informative. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ephraim. All right, viewers, it has been a very intense conversation. We've learned, we've argued, we've fought, and we're taking a short break now. When we come back, we'll wrap up the segment and call it a day. See you. All right, viewers, welcome back to Ways Breakfast. What are you saying? Today's topic has been very insightful. We've discussed understanding the impact of menstrual health and PCOS on women's life. Right about now, we want to look at the book we've been studying for a while, the book review on Breaking Points by David Undeyi. So I read the opening part of Chapter 3. Chapter 3 opens with David embarking on a canoe journey to Côte d'Ivoire with his friend. Upon their arrival, David exposes a harsh reality, and many Nigerian women are deceived with promises of legitimate jobs, but are instead forced into prostitution. So these women face a cruel ultimatum: pay millions of naira or endure indefinite imprisonment. I could go on and on reading the story, but I'll just pass the mic on to God's Beauty. The scholar in the house is always reading. So let us in on Chapter 3 and what we should know about it.
Okay, so I mean, just like the way my sweetheart here will always say.
Your sweetheart?
Yes.
No, we don't do that here.
Yeah, sorry.
Everybody should be sweetheart. What's that?
Okay, yeah, sorry now.
Okay.
But quick one, yeah. This book is a very interesting one, so I think everybody should go read it, to be honest. So, I mean, this Chapter 3 was just about David opening our eyes to what's going on in Côte d'Ivoire. You know, he said a lot of things about prostitution, how women or how ladies here in Nigeria are, pressurized or, to go into prostitution. And the funny part? They tell them here that, see, when we get there, you will see good job. Leave Nigeria, what do we have here? Our government are not taking us for granted and all of those things. Come to Côte d'Ivoire, you would get good jobs and all of that. And when they get there, it's a different story. They are forced into prostitution. And if they don't want to do it, they end up paying their bosses, the person that brought them there. Like, I have the case of a lady called Christy. David explained to us who Christy was, and how she left this place. She was 1 month pregnant, and she got to Côte d'Ivoire because she was in search of a good job, only for her to get there and she was told to do prostitution. So due to her belief and all of these things, she said she's not doing that. So she had to pay her boss, the person that brought her there, 2 million naira. Then after that, there's a man called Bello. Bello is a man that the Nigeria embassy, according to David, the Nigeria embassy is using to extort money from women or from ladies that are in Côte d'Ivoire, right? So what's going on there is he Bello now went to what's her name, Christy, told her to so there are two ways to this thing. Is either you pay 4 million naira or you go to prison. So Christy at that time was broke, and she said she doesn't have the money, and they take her straight in to the prison. So guess what? She gave birth there, and she's still there till now.
Quickly, let me just wrap up so we don't...
Very quickly. Let's do that very quickly.
The book is a pointer to real-life issues, which is one thing I really do appreciate. This is not the first time we're talking about forced prostitution, forced labor, oftentimes caused by trafficking. It's oftentimes caused by we ourselves. Oh, you want to travel on the boat. It's called donkey in India. You want to go to go and read Chapter 3, please, and then just read the entire book.
That is where we end it today, because they really want to open up this book for us. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a very insightful 1 hour. It's a privilege to be your anchor today with my girls, and tomorrow we're going to see you again on Ways Breakfast, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. Do not miss it for anything.